everyone and welcome to my video lecture series. So today we are going to start with a new topic, okay, and we are going to start with something which is called as biodiversity, okay. Before I start with today's topic, all those who are watching the video lecture and who have yet not subscribed to my channel, kindly do so and also press the bell icon so that you will receive all the updates regarding my uploads, okay. Let us start with the topic which is called as biodiversity. Okay, what is the meaning of biodiversity? See, biodiversity is basically, it can also be called as variety of life. I will write it down over here. Okay, now what do you mean by variety of life? See, basically the earth, okay, the earth is having a lot of organisms, okay, many different species are present. There are plants, there are animals, right? Fungi are present, prokaryotes are present like bacteria, okay, eukaryotes. So there are many different types of organisms which are present. So there is a variety in living beings. Also there are many different types of ecosystems which are present. For example, desert ecosystem, rainforests, deciduous forest, wetlands, grasslands, etc. So all this variety of life staying together, that is called as biodiversity, or it can also be called as diversity in biological living forms. Is this clear? All the different organisms staying together, that can also be called as biodiversity. So it is also the variety of life. Now, why are all these different organisms present on Earth? So it is because of 3.5 billion years of evolution which has occurred. I will write it down over here. Okay, 3.5 billion years is a very large time frame. Okay, and because of all these years of evolution, what has happened is many different organisms have originated, many species have been formed. So initially the first life on earth was in the form of a prokaryotic single-celled organism, and from that we have now a number of organisms which are multicellular, which are in the form of many different species. We have a lot of kingdoms present. So all that has originated, or all that has been possible because of this 3.5 billion years of evolution. So please remember, biodiversity has not occurred over a period of couple of years or 3 years or 2 months. It has taken a lot of time for all this evolution to occur. Okay, now in biodiversity, what is the definition? Suppose if you want to write down the definition of biodiversity, right, we have called it as variety of life. So how will you define biodiversity? So biodiversity is basically a part of nature, okay, which includes three things. So there are three things which we have to remember. First is, it includes the variations among all the organisms belonging to the same species. Okay. Second thing is, it includes variations among all the organisms belonging to different species. And the third thing is, biodiversity also includes all the different types of ecosystems. So if you want, I will write down the definition. Okay, so definition of biodiversity is, it includes, now there are three things in that. First is, all the variations among organisms belonging to the same species. Alright. Then the second point is, all the variations among organisms belonging to different species. And the third point is, so I'll just scroll a bit lower, right? And biodiversity also includes all the different types of ecosystems. Is this clear? So this is basically the definition. If it is asked in the exam, you have to write down Biodiversity can be defined as all the variations occurring among organisms belonging to the same species, all the variations occurring among organisms belonging to the different species, and also all the different types of ecosystems which are present on earth. Okay, all these three things together are forming your biodiversity. Okay, and with that we are going to start with the next part of our today's lecture, and that is going to be based on levels of biodiversity. So levels of biodiversity we will be starting now, and under levels of biodiversity there are basically three levels that we have to study. So I will write that down. Okay, so the first level is going to be called as genetic diversity. Okay, there are three levels which we have to study. The second level is called as species diversity, and the third level is called as ecological or ecosystem diversity, right? So when we study all these three levels, we are indirectly going to study about biodiversity, because we have seen the definition, and in that definition we have talked about the variations among the same species, among the different species, and about the ecosystem. That same thing we are going to study in depth now, in detail now. So that is called as levels of biodiversity. So you have to remember that. Again, this is a very theoretical topic, so please understand the meaning of all these different levels. Okay, if you understand that, you can give your own examples and write that down if it is asked in the exam. So let us start with the first level of biodiversity, that is called as genetic diversity. Okay, now genetic diversity is also called as intraspecific diversity. So let us start with the first level, which is called as genetic diversity. Now what is the meaning of genetic diversity? See, genetic diversity are all the variations or all the differences which are present among the organisms which are belonging to the same species. Please remember. So over here we are considering a single species, and all the organisms which belong to that species, okay, all these organisms will have slight differences in their genes, in their alleles. Okay, so all the organisms, although they belong to the same species, that doesn't mean that all of them will be having exactly the same number of genes or the same quality of genes and alleles. They will have slight variations which are present, and because of those variations, all those organisms will be slightly different from each other. Okay, for example, consider an organism called as tiger, right? And the tiger belongs to the species called as tigris. The scientific name of tiger is Panthera tigris. So now, as you all know, there is not only a single type of tiger present throughout the world. There are many different types of tigers, right? So there is something called as the Bengal tiger, then there is a Sumatran tiger, there is the Indo-Chinese tiger, Siberian tiger. Many tigers are present, and all these tigers are slightly different in their appearance. So why is that so? They are all belonging to the same species, right? The difference is because of the variation in their genes and alleles. Okay, I hope everybody knows what alleles are. Okay, many different forms of the same gene are called as alleles. For example, if I say that T, the letter T, if it is a gene, then I can say that capital T and small t are alleles of the gene T. Or if I say that if blood group, the blood groups are denoted by the gene I, then the gene I is having three alleles, okay, IA, IB and IO, which are standing for blood group A, blood group B and blood group O. So anyway, that is about the alleles. So in genetic diversity, we are basically going to study about the differences in the organisms belonging to the same species, and hence genetic diversity is also called as intraspecific diversity. Okay, what is the meaning of intraspecific? Please remember, whenever you come across this term intra means within. So intraspecific means within the same species. So the diversity which is happening or which is occurring within the same species is called as intraspecific diversity. Okay, so that is it. Now, why is this intraspecific diversity occurring? Okay, if I'm talking about any one species, then how come all the organisms belonging to that species are having those differences? Ideally, if they belong to the same species, then they should be same everywhere. For example, the tiger which is present, it should be the same everywhere, right? But why it is different in some places? See, the thing is, if we take that same example of tiger, the Bengal tiger, the Siberian tiger, the Indo-Chinese tiger, the Sumatran tiger, all these tigers are basically present in different geographical areas. Okay, and because of that, the effect of that geographical environment on the organism is different. And because of that, each organism, even though it belongs to the same species, it will develop slightly different variations and characters to combat with those geographical variations. See, first of all, the climate is a difference. If you talk about the Bengal tiger and Siberian tiger has to basically deal with extreme winters, extreme cold conditions, whereas the Bengal tiger will normally deal with warmer conditions. So there itself, what is going to happen is, over the period of years, over the period of evolution, both the tigers have basically a change in their body type, and that is because of a change in the gene and alleles which are present. So both of them, though they are belonging to the same species tiger, they are having certain changes. So we can say that both these tigers are subspecies of the original tiger. What is the meaning of subspecies? So I will write down that word over here. So I have an original species over here, okay, and this species is giving rise to many subspecies. So I will write it down over here. This is subspecies number 1, this is subspecies number 2, and this is subspecies number 3. Okay, so again the same thing. If you want this explained with the help of an example, let me write down the species. The species I'm going to write down as tiger, which is also written as Panthera tigris, right? Now this Panthera tigris, based on the location, it is of many types. So the first type over here, if you want to write down the scientific name of the Bengal tiger, then it is Panthera tigris. All right, so this is okay. So this is the first subspecies. The second subspecies, if you want, if you are talking about the Indo-Chinese tiger, then the Indo-Chinese tiger is called as Panthera tigris corbeti. The third subspecies, if you want to talk about, if we talk about the Sumatran tiger, which is present in the Sumatran Islands, that is called as Panthera tigris sumatrae. Is this clear? Sorry, I got the spelling wrong. It is Sumatrae. Now, when you look at all these scientific names, you will see that the generic and specific name in all these cases is same. What about these third letters? Right? Over here I have added tigris, over here I have added corbeti, over here I have added sumatrae. So all these three words which I have added, these are basically denoting the subspecies. So basically, although all of them belong to the same species, they are slightly different, and that difference is because of the change in genes and alleles. I am not saying all the genes and alleles are different. Most of the genes, or 90% of the genes and alleles, are same in all these organisms, all these subspecies. However, some of the genes and alleles are either arranged separately, they are arranged differently, or a different allele has been produced. Because of this, there are three different varieties of the original species, and these are the three subspecies which are produced. Is this clear? So I hope genetic diversity is clear. It is also called as intraspecific diversity, diversity inside the same species. Another example, if you want, Darwin's finches. If you have heard Darwin's finches, these birds were basically discovered by Darwin on an island called as Galapagos Islands. So original species was finch, and from that, because of geographical isolation, many different subspecies of finches were formed. So that is again an example of genetic diversity. Again, lions are present, many different types of lions. Elephant, Okay, even the elephant, there is an African elephant, there is the Asian elephant. So all these are subspecies of the original species, so that is called as genetic diversity. And why are there these changes which are occurring in the same species? That is because of many different things: the environment, the climate, the geographical condition, the ecosystem. All these things can cause changes in the organism which is belonging to the same species. Okay, now I have given an example related to the animal kingdom. Another example related to the plant kingdom, when we are studying genetic diversity, is about a plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub this off now. The plant is called as Rauwolfia vomitoria. I will write down the name. Again, this is the scientific name, so please remember to underline both the generic and the specific names separately. Now this plant, okay, this plant is very important because there is an alkaloid which is derived from this plant, okay, and that alkaloid is called as reserpine. Okay, now first of all, what is the meaning of reserpine? See, reserpine is a chemical compound which is obtained from a plant which is called as Rauwolfia vomitoria. Okay, now what is the meaning of an alkaloid? So this is not given in the book. See, alkaloids are basically natural compounds which are normally obtained from plants. They are basic, okay, and they have at least one nitrogen atom in their structure, okay, and these structures are called as alkaloids. So it is basically an alkaloid which is derived or which is obtained from the plant called as Rauwolfia vomitoria. Now, what is the use of this reserpine? This reserpine which is present, this reserpine is basically used as a drug in all the patients which are having high blood pressure, okay, and this reserpine basically acts as a vasodilator. Vasodilator means it relaxes the blood vessels, so the diameter increases and the blood pressure decreases. So this is basically a medicine taken by patients who are suffering from blood pressure. Now we are studying this under genetic diversity. Now what happens is this Rauwolfia vomitoria which is present, it is basically growing in the Himalayan ranges, okay, so I will note that down over here. Grows in Himalayan ranges. So now what happens is, obviously the Himalayan ranges are huge, they are very large, okay, they are not restricted to a very small area. So this plant will grow everywhere in the Himalayan ranges, and if you compare any two plants, then the amount of reserpine which is present inside these two varieties of Rauwolfia vomitoria, the amount of reserpine will be different, because each plant which is growing, it is subject to slightly different geographical conditions, and because of that what happens is the order of genes and the alleles is slightly different when you compare two or more plants belonging to the same species. So because of that, the amount of that alkaloid which is obtained, the amount of reserpine which is obtained, that is different. The potency or the lethality of that drug is also different. So that is again an example of genetic diversity, where the plant is belonging to the same species, but the subspecies is slightly different because there is a slight variation in its genes or its alleles. Is this clear? So I hope with all these examples the concept of genetic diversity is clear. This is the first level of biodiversity, genetic diversity. It is also called as intraspecific diversity. What does genetic diversity means? It is basically the diversity or the differences which are present among all the organisms belonging to the same species. Please remember, I am not going to compare organisms belonging to two different species when I talk about genetic diversity. I am not comparing a tiger with a lion, or I am not comparing one species plant with another species plant. Whatever I am comparing, all those organisms are belonging to the same species. Is this clear? So I gave you the example of tigers, I gave you the example of this plant called Rauwolfia, and that is about genetic diversity. That is the first level which is present in levels of biodiversity. Now let us start with the second level. Okay, the second level is called as species diversity. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of species diversity? Now, species diversity is also called as interspecific diversity. Please remember this. When we talked about genetic diversity, we called it as intraspecific. Here we are calling it as interspecific. See, interspecific means differences between two different species, two or more different species. Intraspecific means differences between organisms belonging to the same species, two or more organisms which belong to the same species, and if we are trying to find out the diversity among those organisms, it is called intraspecific. However, if I have two or more organisms and all of them belong to different species, then the diversity among those organisms is called as inter. Please remember the difference between intra and inter. Okay, so it is basically the diversity among different organisms belonging to different species. For example, if I am comparing two different organisms, I am comparing lion with zebra, or lion with tiger, or lion with leopard, or two different plants, rose plants and flower plant. That is called as interspecific diversity. I hope this is clear. Now, in species diversity, we basically have to study how many different species can stay together in a given area. Obviously, when the area is very, very large, many species will be present in the same area. If the area is very, very small, then less number of different species will be present in the same area. Okay, for example, if the forest is a very, very big tropical rainforest. What is a tropical rainforest? Tropical rainforests are forests which are present near the equator, okay, and they have rain throughout the year, so they have many different species of plants, animals, okay, and because of that these areas have many varieties of organisms. So here the diversity will be called as species diversity, or it will be called as interspecific diversity. We are comparing different species with each other. We are not comparing organisms belonging to the same species. Okay, now an example of species diversity can be basically, if you see the amphibian population. Okay, I will write down the example over here. Okay, so amphibians. So everybody knows what amphibians are, right? So amphibian population, if you compare the amphibian population present in the Western Ghats of India with the Eastern Ghats of India, then you will see that in Western Ghats, the different species of amphibians which are present are much more in number compared to the Eastern Ghats. See, Eastern Ghats is also having amphibians, but the species diversity is very, very less. There are not many species of amphibians present in the Eastern Ghats, whereas in the Western Ghats there are many different species present of amphibians. So the species diversity is much more in the Western Ghats. So with that we can also come to this point that in different areas there will be different species which are dominant. For example, if I say that tiger population, the Bengal tiger population is maximum in Sundarbans, that means that in the West Bengal area, the tigers are maximum in number in species, and the other species are comparatively lesser in number. However, if I say that a Kashmir deer, which is present more in Kashmir, that is having more species number over there, that means that species is having more number compared to the other species. So each area will have a certain species which is dominant, because in that area that species is finding the climate or the geographical region very, very favorable. So it is not that when we are talking about species diversity we are saying that all the species are equally represented. No, in every area there will be one species which is very, very dominant because it is finding the environment very, very conducive for surviving. So that particular species will be more in number and the other species will be slightly less in number. The same can be said about the crops. Every different state of India produces different crops. Some crops are found more in some regions. Why? Because that species is dominant in that region. So when we talk about species diversity, please remember that in every area there are certain species which are dominant Okay, whereas the other species are more or less recessive, that means they are less in number, and that will vary with each region. For example, if I talk about the southern states, then the population of elephants is quite more over there. Why? Because that species is dominant over there. Is this clear? So that doesn't mean that all the species are exactly equally distributed everywhere. No, it will depend on the climatic conditions. So I hope species diversity is clear. Here we are basically comparing the differences among the organisms belonging to different species. The examples that I gave you, the first example was about the frogs, okay, the amphibians. More diversity, more species diversity is present in the Western Ghats compared to the Eastern Ghats. Then I talked about the tiger and the elephant. So these examples you can write if you want. If you have any other example, you can write that down if this is asked in the paper. So please understand the concept. When I talked about genetic diversity, what I wanted to say was that it is an example of intraspecific diversity. That means that we are basically finding out, or we are studying about the differences among all the organisms belonging to the same species. Okay, for example, many different types of tigers present, many different types of Rauwolfia vomitoria present. Is this clear? So they are belonging to the same species, but their subspecies are different. Okay, subspecies means all the organisms, all the different types of organisms produced from one original species. Okay, so that those are called as subspecies. Is that clear? I hope species diversity is clear. Here we talk about the diversity among organisms belonging to different species, so it is called interspecific diversity. Example is the species diversity of amphibians in Western Ghats is much more compared to the species diversity of amphibians in Eastern Ghats. Is this clear? Okay, now let us start with the last level of biodiversity, and that is called as ecological or ecosystem diversity. This is the third level. Okay, it is called as ecological, or it is also called as ecosystem biodiversity. See, I am not writing many points down over here because, again, as I am telling you, this is a theoretical topic. Okay, when you read these topics from your respective textbooks, you will come to know that they have given few other examples also. I am teaching you the same theory using my own example so that it becomes easier, because otherwise this is not very easy to remember because the concepts are very similar. So please remember the meaning of all these parts, all these levels. If you can understand that and if you can write it in your own words, it is going to be very easy from the exam point of view. Okay, anyway, starting with the third level, which is called as ecological or ecosystem biodiversity. First of all, what is the meaning of ecosystem? See, the definition of ecosystem is the interaction of all the organisms with their environment is together called as ecosystem. Okay, now there are many different types of ecosystems present. Okay, I will write down a few examples over here. Okay, for example, there can be desert ecosystem. Okay, desert ecosystem means desert like conditions where the temperature is very high throughout the day, it is cooler in the night, these areas receive very less rainfall, so that is a desert ecosystem. Then there is something called as a rainforest ecosystem. What is a rainforest? Rainforests are forests which receive rainfall almost throughout the year. Then there are forests which are called as deciduous forests. What are deciduous forests? These are the forests which are surviving in moderate conditions. Like during the summers, the temperature is warm, okay, and the climate is humid. During the winter, it is cool, but the conditions are not extreme. So these are called deciduous forest. Even the amount of rainfall that they receive, it is moderate. Then another ecosystem example I can write down over here is wetlands. Okay, best example of wetlands is Sundarban. So wetlands are areas which are having a lot of water present. So these are wetlands. Similarly, there are grasslands present, areas which are covered extensively by grass. Those are called as grasslands. Then there are something called as estuaries. What are estuaries? Estuaries are water bodies where, can you tell me what are estuaries? So estuaries are where your saline water meets your regular water. Okay, so saline water is the water from the seas and ocean, right? and the water which is coming from rivers or lakes or ponds which is not having a lot of salt in it. So when those two water bodies mix with each other, the ecosystem which is formed is called as estuary. So all these different kinds of ecosystems are present, okay, and when we study the differences among all of them, that is called as ecological or ecosystem biodiversity. Okay, now what decides how much of a ecological biodiversity does an area have? First thing is that with an increase in area, the biodiversity of ecosystems will also increase. For example, if I compare the ecological biodiversity of a city with the ecological biodiversity of a state, obviously a city has a smaller area, so the chances of a city having many ecosystems is less, whereas a state is having a much larger area, so the chances of more ecosystems compared to a city in a state are more, right? Similarly, if you compare the ecosystem diversity of a state with the ecosystem diversity of a country, again the ecosystem biodiversity or ecological diversity of a state will be much less compared to the ecological diversity of a country. So please remember that the ecosystem diversity or the number of different ecosystem present in a given area, they will increase exponentially with the increase in area. Okay, for example, India has got many different ecosystems. For example, all the ecosystems that I have written down: desert, okay, rainforest, deciduous forest, wetlands, grassland, estuaries, all these different ecosystems are present in the country. However, if we talk about any one state present in our country, then that state will not be having all these ecosystems. Why? Because the area of that state is much less. See, all these ecosystems are occupying an area. So if you have more area, there are more chances of different types of ecosystems being present there. Is that clear? So this is called as ecological biodiversity or ecosystem biodiversity. So with that, we have completed the third level of biodiversity, which is called as ecological biodiversity. So all the three levels of biodiversity are very, very important. They are genetic diversity, right, species diversity, and ecological diversity. What is the meaning of genetic diversity? Genetic diversity is also called as intraspecific diversity. Intraspecific diversity means the diversity among the organisms belonging to the same species. Okay, the example that I have used over here is about the different subspecies of tigers which are present. The example, another example with respect to plant kingdom is about the plant called as Rauwolfia vomitoria, okay, which releases the alkaloid called reserpine. Is that clear? So those examples are used. Next level is called as species variation, which is also called as interspecific diversity, species diversity. Here the examples used were about the diversity of amphibians present in Western Ghats, how it is much more compared to the diversity present in Eastern Ghats. Okay, interspecific diversity or species diversity is basically comparing the differences in the organisms belonging to different species. And the third level of diversity is called as ecological biodiversity or ecosystem diversity, where different ecosystems are present in a given area. Is this clear? So with that, we have completed the first part under biodiversity, which is called as levels of biodiversity. Next part which we are going to start in our next lecture is going to be called as patterns of biodiversity. Okay, and in that we are going to learn about two patterns, but that I will teach you in the next lecture. So if you have understood this lecture, please put in a like, do put in a comment, okay, and share it with your friends. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and do press the bell icon. And that's the end of this lecture. Thanks a lot.